Welcome to the Soapbox Sessions. Imagine this, an open and free internet where voices are never silenced, where causes aren't shadow banned, and where no one can be deplatformed. It's real, it's here, and it's happening on Nostr. So what exactly is Nostr? It's a worldwide community of everyday people working to decentralize the internet. On Nostr, you can build websites, communities, social networks, apps, and more. One login works everywhere, you own it, and no one can take it away. No more juggling dozens of platforms, chasing audiences, or managing a giant password list. And the cherry on top? Nostr allows for built-in digital payments that can come from anywhere in the world. On Nostr, value flows as freely as ideas. We're hooked on decentralizing the web, and we think you will be too. So now, let's hear from your hosts, Derek Ross and Heather Larson, who are working to grow Nostr one vibe at a time.
Welcome back to Soapbox Sessions. Today is December 2nd, 2025, and we're here with your weekly dose of all things decentralized social and AI. Soapbox Sessions is our soapbox about what's new, what's cool, what's coming. We want to make it easy to understand and keep you up with everything happening in the decentralized world of social communication and AI as we work to rebuild the internet. Hi, Heather.
What's up, Derekster?
Oh, living the dream, the decentralized dream.
Ah, the centralized dream. Is there a centralized dream? Is there such a thing?
Well, you know what? Would the Matrix be like a centralized dream, right?
Oh, I don't know. You can get a lot.
And then you wake up and now you're decentralized and you can, right? Because everybody's in charge of their own dreams now.
Hey.
I like it.
You know what I've done with AI? I've analyzed my dreams. I will ask a chatbot. I've done. It works great because it's scanned the internet for psychological information, and it can tell me how deep my subconscious goes and what I'm really thinking about. It's kind of cool. It's my new hack.
That sounds like a nerd snipe. You could build an app for that, or did you build an app for that?
I have not built an app for that yet, but I could. Well,
Next
anybody could do
episode,
it.
We'll talk about it.
Any AI could probably analyze your dreams, but I use the Proton Mail one because it's private and it comes with my Proton Mail. It's called Lumo, but it's it's good at that. It's really terrible at other things, but like any AI, you got to learn what it's good at and what it's bad at. But if you have Lumo, ask it what your dreams mean. It's like way better than trying to Google search. So there you go. Another use case for AI in real life.
So last week in real life, I was across the pond, as they say. I was at Nostrshire and Bitfest. I had a lot of fun. I brought my son, my daughter, and my wife along. And
whole family.
We did the conference thing for a few days, and then we did the tourist thing for a few days.
It
was great. One of my favorite things was having fish and chips in a pub.
It's always the food. Like every time you travel, the most memorable thing is always the food.
I just wanted to go to a proper British pub, and I was able to, and I had a nice Boddington's on cask, and I was geeking out, and I was with Constant and Jeroen, and it was fun. I enjoyed that meal a lot, having dinner with my family and friends. In a pub.
That's so cool. You had the full British pub experience.
Yeah. It was great. So Nostrshire was the Nostr event that took place the first day. Mm-hmm. We had several panels and talks throughout the day, talking about Nostr, obviously, and it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was a nice turnout. My first talk was like the third or fourth talk of the day. I talked about what we talk about. I talked about rebuilding the internet. I talked about building with Shakespeare and AI first development and how this allows us to retake back the open web and make the web ours again. And I got a lot of positive feedback from that. Ben Ark, popular Bitcoin developer who makes LN bits, he said that after my talk, he's now convinced that Shakespeare and AI development, vibe coding, will help us take back the internet.
Move things. He was one of the early Nostr
to build their
right?
ideas. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he actually owns Nostr.com. Some say
he's the guy.
He owns the domain.
Nostr.com. Well, I could tell here, back here in the States, I could tell that what you were doing was well received because I could see it. There was the Bitcoin
A lot of
Twitter
pictures.
folks, and Nostr folks. A lot of feedback too. It seems like our friends in the UK seem really open and excited about Shakespeare and vibe coding and getting to build on Nostr. Like that just seems like a really cool community there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And later in the day, I was on stage again moderating a panel with Short Fiat from Fanfares and
Yeah. We love him.
oh my God, who else was I on stage with?
It's like a whirlwind. Everyone in the company's done so much travel, but I think that from like your Bitfest and Nostrshire stuff, like was pretty loud because it was just a good community.
Was it Oscar? I think it was
Oscar.
Oscar
Was in your videos. I know. Like
I don't remember. I feel so bad. Who was my other panelist?
Oh, God bless you.
This is horrible.
Bless your heart.
Okay, so
you are a disaster.
I'm gonna say it was Oscar. And it might have been. I don't remember. This was like a week and a half ago. Okay, I don't remember.
Derek's tired, y'all. He's been vibe coding real hard for the company.
So, but anyways, my point. It doesn't overly matter. I mean, it does. I love my panelists. I'm sorry, I can't remember who my other panelist was. You know,
probably on the internet. We'll find it. It's probably going to be on YouTube.
Well, my point is that the name of the talk was "What Doesn't Nostr Fix?" Because we're always very bullish. Yay, Nostr! Nostr's good. Nostr can fix all the things.
Yeah, gotta be
so
realistic.
We wanted to have a panel that was maybe trying to be a realist, trying to be a little bit contrarian, trying to be a little negative and talk about, the problems with Nostr and what Nostr can't do. But that's unfortunately, when you're asking, multiple Nostr bulls, what's wrong with the thing they're bullish about, they're not going to come back with a whole lot
I can make a list.
What's bad and broken.
I can be realistic. I can give you my laundry list.
You should have been on the panel because the conclusion was...
Yeah. Put me on the panel. Tell me to be a Karen. I'll pull it off.
Whenever we were walking off stage, Simon looked over at Nathan Day and said, "Hey, sorry, man, we didn't do what we were supposed to do. We ended thinking that Nostr can fix all the things."
Well, I think here's the thing. Nostr may not be able to fix all of the things right now today, but I think if we give it a year, I think a year from now, we will have fixed some of the major problems: privacy, encryption, e-commerce. What else?
It has the potential to fix a lot of things, right? Can it fix everything today? Maybe not. But given a long enough timeline, it could fix most things, I believe.
Yeah,
so that was a good panel.
A lot of people
so good I don't remember all the participants.
Right. I think people forget. I think because what's really forward facing in Nostr is the social media aspect, and I think that's like the first step
the most
of
popular
adoption.
use case right
but
now.
It does so much more than that because it gives you an opportunity to keep data private, which is a use case for like every app that we work on. You've got an opportunity like with Runster, the one that I work on, that you can just store your data on your phone. You never have to share it. You can if you want. It doesn't have to be out in the world. And then like with Shakespeare, it's the same thing. Like your data's private. We don't host your information on our servers because we just don't do that. It's in your browser. We can't see what you're building unless you want to share it. And so Nostr kind of becomes this ecosystem where whatever app you are using, it's private. So unless you take, out of your own volition, you go to share something or you go to post something and maybe share your data with the world. It's your choice.
I would say Nostr has the potential to be private, but the vast majority of data that's posted is not private.
Right, because I think now it's still like...
That is part of the issue with some people try to build apps on Nostr that would function better if they were truly private.
Yeah, and I think,
but that isn't the
give
case.
It another, I think a year from now, the conversation will be very different. What people are building will be very different. I mean, look where we were a year ago.
It's not so much that it's it's just a technical limitation. Then there's multiple
Yeah.
hurdles you have to go through to be able to make things have the illusion of privacy or to actually to be private. Like you can encrypt all of your own personal data if you want to, and
Hmm.
only you can decrypt it. So it's
Exactly.
harder then to share it to other people. But with gift wraps, I can encrypt something that is specifically for you and send it to you, Heather, and only you would be able to decrypt it. Then there's all
Hmm.
sorts of other
It's
complications
like super technical.
with group data and giving access. And there are people working on solving these types of problems. So
That's,
sure, given a long enough timeline,
well,
maybe a year from now, maybe you will have better, we'll say, group privacy
think
applications
about,
that can solve these problems.
take a moment and close your eyes and think back, visualize where we were a year ago, Derek. We were getting ready to do Sats by Southwest at Bitcoin
Yep.
Park in Austin and a show at Antone's, live streaming with our friend Adam Curry. And just think of how much has changed since a year ago when we were just doing that thing in Austin. We are just, doing our thing, and Ainsley,
There's a few
Suzanne Sanford were
changes.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, a few I can think of.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, just think of how far we've come. I think probably even in the last few months since we started working
Well,
for
definitely within the
Soapbox.
past 6 months, thanks
Mm-hmm.
to AI first development. And actually, speaking of that, the next day at the Bitfest part of the event that I went to, that was the Bitcoin conference side of
It was like
things.
3 or 4 events in one, right? It was because there was like an art show and there
Yeah,
was
I mean,
music. It was so
there was
much.
there was the art show that was the art gallery from Bitcoin artists, and then we had the music festival, and then we had the conference portion, and then we had the Nostr conference portion. So yeah, it was a bunch of smaller segregated events that were happening throughout the whole entire event, which was really nice. There was also a workshop nerdery section for the builders, the tinkerers, the people that were building cool physical devices, and people that wanted to give more technical talks. So obviously, I was there to talk a little bit about Shakespeare. I gave a workshop. There was 34, 32, 36. I forget the count, somewhere in the mid 30s of
Mm-hmm.
people that were in the audience. A lot of people were asking questions. It was very well received. A lot of people came up to me afterwards and were showing me what they built, told me what they built or what they plan on building once they get home. So I was really
Neat.
excited. It went really long. I only had 30 minutes, but
That
the
was the one you
questions
took
kept
up
coming.
extra
I took
time
up
for the.
I took up 50 minutes.
So
And I didn't
we need a
really
full hour.
realize, well, I do. I need an hour. I
Yeah,
last a long time. And
yeah. That's
I
what she said.
wasn't I wasn't expecting to go for 50 minutes, but well, I did.
But tis.
But I did.
That's
People
actually
had
good. I think
questions. You
people are
know me. I like to help.
excited.
I like to answer questions. So I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to continue talking to people afterwards, answer
That's
their
cool.
questions if I wasn't able to answer them
What's
on
your most
stage. And
common question? Now that you've done a whole bunch of these things around the world
yeah, I've
and
done
people start
multiple
vibe
of these
coding.
workshops around the world
Yeah.
now.
What are people
People
asking?
people generally just don't know how to talk to a robot, and I get it. You've
Mm-hmm.
never had to do this before, so they want to know if you can build this thing. And I will
Yes.
say, probably 80% of the time, I'm going to say, oh, yeah, you can absolutely build that. There's only very few cases where Nostr just doesn't work for what you want to build. But if you're going to
Mm-hmm.
build something that has some type of public social component, absolutely,
It's
Shakespeare
perfect.
will build it. It is perfect for that. Perfect for that. But like
Shakespeare
we were
will
just
do
talking
a
about
lot.
group type encryption and group privacy things. Like if you want to
Mm-hmm.
build something like that, it's
Can't do
possible,
it.
but man,
It's gonna take a lot of
it's too
work.
technical for the average person to figure out.
Yeah. Like
But
I wouldn't take
you know
that
what,
on
Heather,
personally.
maybe you'll be able to do it in 6 months.
There you go. That's what I'm thinking is like maybe I can't
Instead of 2
build
weeks, we say
that
6 months.
right, 6 months. Maybe soon, and a year
I
from
think
now again the
I think
conversation will
it
be
is
different.
possible. We were working on Discord, Telegram type alternatives.
Over the
Soapbox.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, we spent a couple months building something, and it's great, but there needs to
It
be.
lacks the privacy. It
It lacks
needs
the privacy.
that.
There needs to be some more enhancements to it, and so we're
Mhm.
retooling and starting over from
Yeah.
basically the
So
beginning,
if you're
and we'll
finding
get
this
there. We just need more
podcast,
time.
like check the date on this podcast. If it's like 2026 and you're listening to this might already be
So
outdated, which I
you giving us a
then-
timeline? So like we'll say like
yeah,
June
like-
2026.
like don't take anything seriously that we're saying. It might be completely outdated by summer 2026, because right now it's December 2025. We're wrapping up the year.
It's a guess.
Yeah, it's a guess. It'll be interesting. We
Well,
might have to come back to this episode in June or July and be like, what came true?
One thing that I've learned on my 3 years of being on the Nostr is that things move incredibly fast when they need to, and they move slow otherwise.
Every other
And
day,
that is
yeah.
simply because developers are problem solvers. And if there is no staring in your face problem that needs to be solved, things are going to go along slowly. But if there is actually something that is broken, if there's a need for something to be fixed, a solution to be provided, everybody's brain is going to get turned on and will get not turned off until that solution is provided. So
This is true. I like what
I think that we're going to have that moment again.
Yeah, I liked what Sam said in our Hive Talk session last night, which you can watch. I just posted the December 1st Hive Talk replay to YouTube. Sam, one of our devs, said, like, we just gotta, as we're building, like, let's not waste time, let's communicate, and like, if you're trying to solve a problem on Nostr, like, ask around, because somebody may be working on it and you may not have to actually do this.
It's the open
work.
source. See, it's the open source.
Open source way.
It's the open source playbook.
I'm gonna make a
you
blooper
build
video
in
out
the
of
open.
this.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have all sorts. I don't know,
we're
man.
gonna get so many
I
views.
guess I'm tired or something. It's been
Every time
it's been a long day.
I know.
It's been a long day for me. I've had so many meetings.
Year,
I was outside shoveling snow. Like,
oh, that's right. You guys got a nor'easter, didn't you? That's why you're tired.
We got a little snow, I guess.
Snow makes you tired. It makes you want to stay home and be cozy and not be like doing the
drink some hot
like,
chocolate. My daughter, she's been on a hot chocolate kick.
Awesome. Yeah, because it's always so quiet when there's a nice big storm, and then you just want to hunker down.
My favorite thing to do when I was a kid was to go outside at nighttime in the wintertime and just lay down. And I lived in the woods, so it was quiet at night anyways. But to lay down in the snow, and it was just so quiet. You could hear, hear forever. You could hear. So sound travels better at night anyways. But just with the snow kind of muffling everything, it was just so quiet, and that was one of my favorite things to do.
That's cool. That's like very meditative. I would not have guessed that about you.
Oh yeah.
You got layers, man.
I'm deep. I'm like Shrek. I got layers.
Yeah.
So let's talk about one of these layers that I was peeling away at last week.
Oh boy.
So we released our Nostr is Divine episode, and Oscar Mary, who I think was my other panelist in Nostrshire.
I think he was, but I saw videos of him singing a song for you or something.
Yeah. He commented on the episode on Nostr saying, "Hey, this episode doesn't work." And well, I jumped out of bed because I was still laying in bed at this point, like 7 a.m. And I jumped out of bed. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, our podcast is broken. I jump out of bed and run downstairs. Like,
Devrel Derek to the rescue! I will fix it in 5 minutes flat. Like,
it was going to drive me crazy if it wasn't fixed, so I had to go
close
fix
the loop in your brain.
Right. Like that loop was open, so I had to lock her down. And I figured out that the reason that there was a problem was that Podster was uploading the song to Primal's Blossom server, as it always does. But for some reason, Primal's Blossom server was now recognizing it as a .bin file instead of of a .mp3 file. I don't know if they
Oh.
made a change on their side, but what happened is since we were using op3.dev for analytics,
Oh.
when op3.dev would do the redirect
Mm-hmm.
to the MP3 file to play it, it would come back and it would say, this is not a valid audio file, the .bin file, and it wouldn't play it. Now, if you were to try to go directly to the bin file, it would play. But anyways, it didn't through the
So weird.
OP3 analytics redirect. So I didn't know how to fix it quickly. I didn't want to sit there and have it be broken all morning. So I just added nostr.download as a additional Blossom media target and uploaded it to blossom.download. Shout out to FOD, Kieran. Thank you for the Blossom media server. And it uploaded fine there, and the episode plays fine from there. So I will figure it out. I will try to upload some test audio to
Nobody has broken and fixed more of Nostr than Derek Ross.
No.
Someday we're gonna laugh about this.
I've only done a fraction, I'm sure, of what people like Will or
I've done a lot of
Jeff or
breaking.
Vitor or Pablo, those type of guys. I break my own stuff.
Yeah, you think of the weird stuff that you know because like a podcast breaks at ODark30 because of like a bin file.
Like I want to figure out like why that changed, because I didn't change Podster in weeks. So that means that they had to have an update on their Blossom server.
We've changed nothing. So,
but the average person wouldn't know that. So that means I need to have better reporting, I guess, and Podster. But I think I also figured out that it's going to try to force that type of upload. So that makes the application better, right? Like it's going to try to force this type of audio upload, and if it can't do it, it'll choose another Blossom server.
So here's a question for you, because you're the highly technical person and I'm the marketing person. So I'm not
the highly technical person in this podcast. Like
in this podcast,
you get outside this podcast, I'm just a guy named Derek.
But you're just a guy named Derek. But no, like you can translate to me, and then like I can take it down another layer and distill it to like really
I can do
normal
that tech talk.
people, like normal non-technical people. Okay, so
gotcha,
I tried to, and like I'm not a dev, and like I have like this many dev skills, like you can fill a thimble with them. So I tried to make Podster. Like if you go to podster.org, it has the directions, and you download. I don't remember, like VS Code, and like you download what all do you download if you want to make a Podster using MKStack?
I mean,
you need to download.
Really, you just need to clone. You just clone the repository, and then you edit the .env file and put in all of your own.
Yeah. So I tried to do that.
Items.
I don't have enough
That's all you need
to do that. So what I ended up doing is I remixed it in Shakespeare. I went to our website, found the Podster, clicked edit with Shakespeare, and so then I made Radio Detox like Podster style. So like let's say I did that like a couple weeks ago.
You don't need to do it, right? You don't, now that we have edit with Shakespeare, you don't need to do it like the developer way. You can do it this way. That's really cool that you did that.
I tried both to torture myself because I work here. But anyway, so like let's say
but that's a good use case.
It's a good use case. So I made my other podcast, Radio Detox. So I made that version in Podster. So like I took our Podster and made it, that. Okay, so let's say I did that 2 weeks ago, and so like now there's some burp or something that's happened with, is it with Podster or just with the whole bin file thing that you just described that I probably can't explain from a technical. Do I need to go back and make any changes to my remix of Podster that I made in Shakespeare? Like, do I need to fix it?
So what you did is you technically forked Podster. So what you could do is you could go back into Shakespeare and you would go to the repository and you would look, and it should, depending on how you edited it, I assume you cloned it, the repo. So so you would look and you would see that your repo is different than my repo. You technically have a forked repo. You can then tell the AI, you can tell Shakespeare that changes have been made to the main branch, the original branch, and you need to incorporate those changes. So you could say, look at the the code has been updated on the main branch, and you could even paste in the link or say on the main branch and see if it's smart enough
I
to
think Shakespeare might
figure out
know.
what you mean.
Shakespeare
I think
might
so,
understand
right?
that. Actually,
And then say, I want to incorporate the latest bug fixes and changes, the latest commits
so that's
into
actually
our
something.
project.
That's something I should just do on a periodic basis anyway to maintain it.
So it can do that. Now, depending on what the changes are, there's a more technical way to do this. Like you can go to the 3 like little dots and you go to repository, and then under repository you hit advanced, and then from there
I'm not
you can
advanced,
look
though.
at the local branch and the remote branch, and you can see that there's different commits, and you can do compares saying, oh, there are changes. I want
Or if
to
I
pull in these changes.
if I don't like
And
your
you can
change, I
do
never have to.
and you can do this. So you can do this through the GUI, through the graphical user interface, but you can also tell the AI to do it, and it should be able to figure it out too.
I say like that. That's how I'm gonna roll. Like I'm gonna take the path of least resistance, which is
Try
in the command
Try
line.
it and see how it works, because
Yeah.
this is what you should be able to do, because in theory, let's say you added a feature to Podster, you should be able to tell the AI that you want to submit it back to Podster, and then I can incorporate your change. Or if I make changes, you can pull it down. It should just work.
I'm gonna need you to write a blog about this, because here's the fun part about Shakespeare not having your data is we have no idea which users have remixed Podster or any other app that's listed in the showcase at soapbox.pub. So if you have taken one of these apps and forked them in Shakespeare and made it your own, you actually may need to do this for some of the apps you've made if they've been updated in the repo. We probably need to do a blog post and a tutorial about this, Derek. Something for your to-do list.
So I'm going to say yes.
Well, devs will know how to do this, but like Heathers will not know how to do
this. It's also depending on what the person remixes. Like if it's just small changes, sure. But if you're refactoring the whole thing, it becomes very difficult to, I'll say, merge the code, like the original code and your updated code, depending on what you changed. Some things might need a more developer friendly eye on. AI might, I mean, you could always YOLO and be like, yo, AI, do the thing and see what happens. And if it breaks everything, you just hit the rollback button. We have that option. If you go into the repository, you can roll back. So if AI fucks it, then you just say, hey, unfuck this project. And
if we were a traditional company, like we would have your account and we would have your email address on file, and we would send out an email because we would know who you are and what you build, and we would be like, hey, you remix Podster and Shakespeare, there's a bug fix for that Derek rolled out, like you've got to do something now. But like since we don't actually have your data and we have no idea what you've done, you just kind of have to like keep up with that on your own. And that's kind of a realization I'm having right now, which is a good thing, because we don't want to be babysitting your data and all of that. Like this is totally up to you. Like you think that retain control.
That you might be able to like, how would you know if I updated it, right? Unless I went and talked about it.
Unless you said something.
So
yeah,
unless I said something. So we don't have a way to notify, but I guess
exactly
as a poor man's way to notify, you could go to import repository and click on follows now, because you can see like the repositories from people that you're following, and then you can click on the repository link. Click on the
that's a new Shakespeare
feature,
which is really cool too.
Feature. And you would pull down all of the changes. I said, I mean, that I don't know if I would do it that way. But that is a nice
conversation.
Besides, I'm sitting here trying to figure out ways to do something and completely derail the conversation. So to bring us back,
this is what I do. I break things.
Yeah, you broke the thing. So let's just shelf that for now. Let's.
It's good information for folks who
but what Heather did mention, and I was rambling about, is there is a new feature in Shakespeare that if you go to import a repository, you now have a list of all of your projects that exist on Nostr Git that you could import to Shakespeare, like if you
Very
used
cool.
another tool. But the cool thing here is it makes code social. So you can click on the follows button now, and it's essentially a social or follow feed of all of the projects all the people you follow have been working on. So if Heather is working on a project and she uploads it to Nostr Git, I can now see it. I can see that she
I
worked
should
on it,
do that.
and I can clone her repository with a click of a button, and I can work on it, and then I can click a few more buttons and submit the changes back to
It'll
her
be
if
fun.
I
I
wanted
made
to.
a bunch of things today because I needed screenshots for online posts and went, oh
So
God,
it's
I'm going to
really
be in here in
cool.
a while. Yeah, we got, you know what? We have a lot of new features, and that's the cool thing. Like, if you haven't used Shakespeare in a couple months, it's very different. If you haven't used it in a couple weeks, it might be a little bit different. But I've noticed we have some users that were still kind of living in Act 1 when we put out Act 2 in October.
Yeah.
And so if you
Yeah,
haven't
I had
touched
a guy talk to
Shakespeare,
me about that in Manchester, and then two guys messaged me about that recently on the Nostr, and you had somebody you said you talked to about it as
yeah,
well. So
yeah,
as a
probably the same
friendly
people.
PSA, if you are still using Act 1, which was temporarily moved to act1.shakespeare.diy, that was temporarily moved there to give you the opportunity to migrate all of your projects to Act 2. You need to do so.
Do it.
Eventually,
Do it now.
that's going to go bye-bye, because
Yeah.
we don't want to run servers to host your code. We don't want to host your code. We don't want to host your data. We want you to be able to do that yourself. So that's why we
Yes.
migrated everything to user choice at Act 2. So do
Mm-hmm.
so, please. And if you
Do it
have
in Act 2.
problems,
Upgrade.
slide into my DMs
Yeah,
and
I
I
can
will
always
help you out.
tell when they're like probably like a few times a day I've got to refresh my Shakespeare because Alex has done something. He's added some feature
He's
somewhere,
always
and I'm like,
working on
oh,
it.
yeah. He never stops. I don't think any of you guys sleep. I don't know when any of you sleep.
Yeah, well, don't you see these
You're up in
bags
the
under
middle
the
of the
eyes?
night, right? You know, we're working on a lot of things around here at
Yeah,
Soapbox. So,
we are. Speaking of working on all the things, let's talk about Vitor and his new update that he's been working on for Amethyst.
I thought this was interesting because
Amethyst
the way he put it.
Amethyst is probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular, Android client out there. And I love it. It's been my daily driver for years now.
Sounds
He's
funny to
adding
say.
a web of trust feature to it. There has been some talk about web of trust over the past, well, I mean, for a year, I guess, but more so over the past couple months. There is a new technology that we've mentioned on the show before called Grape Rank, and
Mm-hmm.
this is a way you've heard of PageRank before, possibly. Google's PageRank.
Okay,
We'll think of it as like
so it's like that.
Nostr's purple rank, Grape Rank. It's a way to build your web of trust, and it's a way to configure your web of trust, because everybody's web of trust is going to be different, and everyone's weight and what they value in a web of trust is going to be different. For example,
Mm-hmm.
I might value comments on my social posts to the highest regard, where Heather, she likes zaps.
Who
She
doesn't like
maybe
zaps?
values zaps higher than comments. So her
Mm-hmm.
weight is different than mine.
Or
So
reposts or whatever.
sure, yeah, any
Mm-hmm.
any metric. There's various metrics out there, and Grape Rank allows people to configure their own web of trust metrics however they want, and then they can
Mm-hmm.
choose a web of trust provider, because all these calculations can't be done on device in a timely manner. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to use a web of trust provider, and that essentially gives us more more user choice. So you
Really?
can use one web of trust provider, and if they do something shady you don't like, you just move on
I
to the
didn't even
next.
know that
You
I
move
could
on to the
adjust it.
next.
You know,
Yeah, so
can I adjust it?
yeah, it's
I don't
kind
know.
of
I don't have Amethyst though.
like relay providers or
Yeah.
media
Okay.
providers. You know, you can use one, and if you don't like them, you can choose another one.
See, I just think of Web of Trust as like it runs in the background and there's nothing I can do to it because I never have so far.
Well,
you know, I know it exists.
Sure. So generally speaking, Web of Trust is like your web of follows. So it's the people that I follow, and then the people that they follow, and the people that they follow, and so forth. It's kind of like, Heather, you've heard of the like 6 degrees of bacon, like, before,
6
right?
Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Old
Yeah, yeah.
game. Like we might be
Yeah,
dating
like, well,
ourselves there.
that's basically what Web of Trust is. Like, how many hops from Kevin Bacon are you? And
Yeah. But it's a good thing.
the more movies that you're in, or the more people that follow you and you follow, your Web of Trust score goes up.
I check my score once in a while. On Coracle. Is the only place I know to find it is on Coracle.
Well, yeah, Coracle has their own Web of Trust scoring, and it's different from GrapeRank. So it'll be a different number, and it's completely different representation and different
Web of Trust,
different algorithm.
It's a whole new world. Like,
but it's good though, because it allows us to essentially community moderate ourselves, where we don't have to rely on a central source.
Well, it should make it obvious if there's a spam bot, like their Web of Trust score should be like 0 or 3, and then like a person who's active on Nostr and post quality content should be like an 800. Like it's like your FICO score.
The more follows you have, the more interactions, the more engagement.
Yeah,
your Web of Trust number goes up, and that
you're
means
not a bot.
that you're likely a human. You're not a bot. So. These things will help with determining, who real people are, who real humans are, finding the correct person to follow. It can even go as far as community moderation with like ban lists, block lists, mute lists, things like that.
Like if I'm new to Nostr and I don't know that like there's a million fake Derek Rosses every so often, they pop up out of nowhere and they follow people, and but there's only one Derek Ross. There's a real Derek Ross.
I'm at Manchester and I talked to you for a couple minutes, and I didn't have a chance to do the QR code swap so we could follow each other, which I try to do to everybody I talk to. But I was really busy, and you caught me when I was walking out the door, and I didn't have a chance to. So I said, "Hey man, follow me on Nostr, DM me." And you say, okay. And then you type in Derek Ross and you see 207 Derek Rosses. And you're like, oh, which is the right one?
Well, the real Derek Ross, please stand up.
So you would just look for the Derek Ross with the highest Web of Trust score. And you would assume that is the one that you were just talking to.
That's cool. Nobody impersonates me, but Derek's important.
So that's why Web of Trust is cool. It can help with, human verification.
I like that.
Determined.
Like we have the technology.
Proof of human.
Let's use it. Proof of human is going to be very important in 2026. Before the year's over, we need to do just a prediction episode where we maybe a wish list. I don't know. We predict everything that we think is going to happen.
Yeah, I do that always. I type my predictions. So yeah, let's do it.
Do you
on
really?
Podcast.
Do you do that like annually?
I did it. I've done it 3 years now. I did it like when I was 2 weeks into Nostr.
Let's dig those up. Okay, that's good. That's going to be a whole
2023,
episode.
2024, 2025.
Oh my God! Dig them up. We're doing this. I want to see what's on the list, because I bet they're like
them all saved. They're all bookmarked.
Have they all come to fruition? Have all the predictions come to pass? Or are we still waiting for development?
Some of them, actually, that might even be a fun episode to read some of these too and talk about them.
Oh yeah. I have a New Year's
resolution. Not all of them have come true. I thought Nostr would be in a much different place than it is right now. I mean, I think we're finally coming up on that here in a couple weeks.
Soon, trademark.
I think 3 years and kind of I won't say shrinking, but shrinking was not on my radar of a prediction to make. So
I almost don't know if that's Nostr or if that's social media in general, because this was, I think, a rough year social and culture wise. I think in some ways more than last year. I think it was kind of a toxic year to be on social.
Other social places, but I have when I talk to people, they seem to be disconnecting from these places too. Like they're seeking more human connections.
which is a good, healthy.
Which is
Nature is
good.
healing. It's a good,
Touching grass
it's a
and
good
touching
thing.
water and touching humans. It's
And
good.
touching humans. Oh,
Touching humans.
Imagine that being in real
Well,
life
with consent,
with
of
people.
course. With
Well,
consent, of
hopefully.
course, Heather.
Better be
Yeah.
consensual. Oh my goodness.
Touching humans.
Touching humans with their consent in real life is definitely undervalued, not priced in.
It's a good time, Like, yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah.
I do.
I went and saw an old friend today. I mean, you got to do it. Why else would I live here if I couldn't just see all these people?
Well, that's
I know?
good. Well,
yeah.
did you purple pill the old friend, Heather?
Working on it, a
Okay.
few misconceptions. This is great. My friend Mark Jeffrey was my traffic reporter, 25 years ago, back when we had planes in the air, when we did these things on the radio. And he's older, but he's a very sharp guy. And he is just like, how are more people not getting into AI, Heather? This is so great. This is so easy. And I show people what I do with ChatGPT or Nano Banana or whatever, and how easy it is. And they think it's so hard. They think I'm doing something that's like so exclusive and so difficult. And I'm like, well, wait till you see, Shakespeare. But he had some interesting misconceptions, and I think it's a good reminder for us to dumb things down. Because I was talking about living on a Bitcoin standard, and he was like, so if you get paid in Bitcoin, do you get a whole Bitcoin? Yeah, because isn't a whole Bitcoin a lot of money?
That would be awesome.
Like, right? I was like, man, let me get that paycheck. But I was explaining, what sats are and
I
the
need
denomination
an upgrade of my salary.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, you can buy $5 or $10 a Bitcoin. I'm not getting paid in a whole Bitcoin. Like you're getting fractions of a Bitcoin. And so then it made me think about how people, we're talking about Square getting Bitcoin payments, and now you can go spend your Bitcoin, or you can zap an artist who's live streaming, or you can zap a node on Nostr, whatever. You can send these micro, fractions, little tiny denominations on up to
But
like.
don't send a fraction too small, Heather. That was a big topic this past week on Nostr. If your fraction is too small, you're going to piss people off.
People were mad about it. Well, that's kind of sending somebody one sat is kind of an FU, but that's a culture thing.
No, one sat is a like. One sat is just
legitimate.
the normal like.
Better than
that's
a like,
how
actually.
It is.
Because a like has no sats, but one sat is one sat. One sat is always one sat.
So one sat is always better than a like. Is that what I heard you say?
Better than nothing. Exactly, because that's just math. 1 is better than 0. Hello.
Yeah.
But that's I think
like
one misconception we don't want to forget.
The math is not wrong. The math is not wrong.
There is some math involved.
1 is better than 0. So
and I showed my friend
Corn DeLorean.
Oh, goodness, corn. Well, I showed my friend Terry Yu's Sats Price app and like how we can convert things and how it's easier to convert Bitcoin when it's at 100K, but it's not today. It's 92,000 at the moment. So that's one thing that I was like, oh, we kind of like have to dumb down the Bitcoin stuff for a lot of people, but he was open to it. So that was cool. And I was showing him Nostr and I was showing him the apps, and he's like, oh my God, you must get so many emails. And I was like, no, I don't. You don't log in with an email. Like you don't have an account.
I thought you were like signing up to all of these with your email.
Yeah, because he was like, you must get so many emails because there's so many Nostr apps, and I was like, no, you have one identity, and it was good little entree into explaining like, okay, so you get this key pair, and I'm showing him the keys, and I'm like, this is like if you started a profile and you had an account and you did that on Twitter, and then you decided to use the same login for Instagram, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's gonna LinkedIn. It's gonna work for every app, right? You just have one identity for everything. But there's no emails, Mark. There's no emails. He was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I was explaining to him like doing live music and how, Fountain FM works and how, people can upload their music to all these things. And like, it reminds me that like, we're doing something that we're like so close to that we forget that the rest of the world hasn't heard about it yet. And, we certainly, it's easier than I think people think, but there is still kind of a learning curve to, it's different aspects of what we do.
For us, because we've been doing it for years and we've watched it get easier over time. But in the grand scheme of things, you are absolutely right. It's still hard.
It's still hard for people who are,
There's actually some things that are coming in the pipeline for some apps that I actually got to play with earlier today. It's going to make things actually. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to tease it. It's going to.
I'll edit it out anyway.
It's going to make signing in really, really easy.
That's
to
good.
a lot of other applications.
Easy
Like we already
is
do
where
this.
it's at.
We already do this with Amber if you're an Android nerd,
Yeah,
but Amber's kind of
which I'm not.
technical, and then this doesn't exist at all for iOS. So imagine being able to sign into all the apps and not have to raw dog your NSEC into all the apps. It's just going to work. And it works really
That would
well.
be
The user
amazing.
experience is actually normie friendly. It is, honestly. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
excited
like
for it.
I've always tried to dumb things down as much as I possibly can, and then you realize that you
Yeah.
kind of like not only dumb things down, you have to like back it up like 30 steps sometimes, but you can teach people about these things, and there are really cool folks. Like my friend's in his 60s. He's like, tell me about this. Tell me how you're working with AI and what your thing does, and that's cool because we got people who are open to it, and then we recognize that there's probably a lot of people who still have misconceptions about AI. And rightfully so. I think that there's definitely a backlash
Yeah.
against AI, especially AI produced content. When is it right? When is it wrong? I think there are a lot of ethical questions out there, and I think a lot of people are turned off to just something they don't understand, but they hear a lot about it. There's a lot of AI in the news.
A lot of AI.
A lot of
Well,
AI.
that's the new buzzword. So like 15
Mhm.
years ago, the buzzword was cloud. Everything needed to be cloud.
Right.
And we migrated from cloud to AI. Everything is now AI computing. I
Yeah,
don't,
we don't even
in
talk about
another 5
cloud
years
anymore.
or 10 years, we'll have another word that everything has to be.
Nostr.
What
Everything
is
has
your
to be
cloud
Nostr.
strategy?
Oh
What is
gosh,
your
that's very
AI
enterprise.
strategy? It
That's
is.
very, but you can do anything with AI within reason, obviously. And I think some people have sounded alarms about it, but I think it's
I
still,
think that having a strategy is good, but making your whole entire persona about the strategy is exhausting.
yeah. Well, I see people do that on LinkedIn all the time. That's why LinkedIn is a
Yeah.
weird place where, if this
And that's
whole
why I don't
year,
do the LinkedIn.
everybody on LinkedIn,
I'm not LinkedIn. I'm not, and I'm
let me
happy
tell
to
you.
not be part of that link.
Let me tell you what you've missed. All year long, everybody is trying to outdo everyone else to be the self-reported expert on AI prompting.
I am the AI expert. Yes.
I know how to
I'm
do
sure.
it.
I'm sure it's
I know
fucking exhausting.
systems and processes, and it's like, and I just come in here like, I've got Shakespeare. I can do a one-word prompt here, do this, and then you'll have an app. It's that easy.
I think I would rage and have to quit LinkedIn all over again. I would. Some of the stuff I would just see and I would just like face palm over and over again. And I would delete my account for a second time.
Everything on LinkedIn for me, because I know a lot of marketing people, it's always like, so I took a trip to Italy and what this taught me about marketing is, and then there's just like all kinds of,
Did you meet an Italian AI assistant while you were
right.
there?
Like, yeah, I was in Italy
My
and
Italian
I had the best
AI
baguette.
assistant.
But what this taught me about marketing is, it's like, what does anybody
can't
know
do
about
that.
marketing anymore that we didn't already know? Just do the job. Just do the
Marketing
job.
has been the same for probably hundreds of years. Just the tools to accomplish them have changed.
And marketers are always like, everybody does it this way, but you're doing it wrong. Let me, because I am the chosen one. Let me show you how to do it right.
Understanding how to communicate with those people.
It's psychology.
That's all it is.
I learned the most about marketing when I worked in the county mental health unit. That is when I learned the most about marketing, because it's all psychology. That'll blow your mind.
No, it is. No, one of my favorite things to do when talking technology to people, whether that be Bitcoin, Nostr, whatever, is to really quickly try to assess something about that person, whether that be their technical level, their beliefs in something and whatnot, and then tailor the conversation to
That's like a
something that they'll
sales
be able
technique.
to understand. Yeah, it is.
That's a sales thing.
Yeah.
It is.
But I'm not trying to sell you a fucking used car.
Catherine talked with me about that on Radio Detox.
I can read people generally well and disseminate technical information fairly well. So I know I love to do that. I love to hear somebody speak for a few minutes and then try to think, okay, this is how I can tailor this conversation so they'll understand it. And that's what I love to do. All right, so let's move on to FOD.
Friend of Derek.
He still didn't slide into my DMs yet, Heather.
Dorsey's not in your DMs? He must
Not
have
yet.
lost your number.
No, he has it. He has it. He just
This cracks me up every week.
He
Jack's not in
hasn't
your
listened
DMs.
to the show yet because he's really busy with the Cash App and Square launches, So, Jack,
he's busy.
I forgive you, brother. You're going to tune in eventually.
Oh my God. Poor
I know
Jack.
you will. I know you will.
Oh my God.
So he said something to be
On the
thankful
internet.
For. Was it actually Thanksgiving Day, I think?
I think
Right
it
around
was actually. He went on
Yeah.
Nostr and he actually said kind of a lot of things about Nostr, and like he just kind of
Sure.
like wrote a little paragraph there. I'll find
Yeah,
it.
he
said
said-
Nostr wins
you read it.
if it stops trying to be a Twitter clone. It starts being the invisible layer underneath apps you actually want to use, like BitChat for location-based messaging, Divine for entertainment, White Noise for private messaging, Zap.stream for streaming, Shakespeare for vibe coding, etc. Jack says it wins by unbundling into 50 different apps that all talk to each other rather than one giant
Yes.
app/corp that traps you. It's all about the ecosystem. So Nostr's an ecosystem.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Well
Nostr is the
said,
purple pill
Jack.
that binds all of your applications together.
Yeah, it's
That
an
is the
ecosystem.
message. That is the mission.
I'm glad he
It
said that because
is.
mainstream
More
people aren't going to
people
find
need
his
to get on
Nostr,
it, but I think people kind of starting to forget that. Like, really?
I'm glad he said that because it's out there in the public record, and somebody needed to say that, and I think Jack attracts a lot of attention, so that's a helpful thing for Nostr, that people need to
Yes.
understand that it isn't just a Twitter clone. It can actually do a whole hell of a lot of things. It
Sure.
can, like I'll use Tim Booma, who develops Soapbox, as an example. Like he's making this. I can't even describe it, but to privatize your information with Zaps, and like the use case could be
He's
like
making
for your health
safe
record,
box.
a safe bot for your health record. So like you can have, because Nostr has applications for health and fitness data, like Runster, and there's so many things that you could do with it. It's not just the
And
Twitter
maybe you want to
clone.
have that data be safe and encrypted and not public. So this is one of the
Exactly.
solutions, like we were talking about earlier.
Or to sign it, like maybe you Zap, one sat, but it's the principle
Yeah, don't
of
do
the,
one set. That upsets people.
it makes the culture mad. People want more than one sat. They want 21 sats. But there's going to be so much that we could do with Nostr.
Corn DeLorean's going to be pissed in 10 years when we're zapping millisats. When millisats are the standard.
To get his goat though, he's funny. Well, he sent me 100 sats because I created a new meme template today and sent it to him. On
Corn's
Nostr.
a good guy. His argument
yeah.
isn't wrong. Like, it's literally, and we've talked about this before.
There's a little truth to everything.
We're in this weird like chicken and egg situation with Nostr and value for value, right? Like, part of the argument is we need more content so we have more users, but we
need the users to spend their Bitcoin. Damn it.
We want the we want the users to spend their Bitcoin, but it can't be the same users constantly because they get bled dry. So we need new users to come in.
Well, I think that's going to be the great thing.
Spread the Bitcoin spending.
Well, we're already seeing people get curious about Nostr because of Divine. The early adopters, the tip of the spear, if you will, people have heard about Divine being built on Nostr, and so they've kind of shown up like, hey, is anybody else here from Divine? Like, from
There's been a
curiosity
handful.
about Divine.
I've seen a few.
There's been a few, which is fun to see, and like, who knows if we scared them off already or not, or if they got on.
They're like, what's all this Bitcoin talk? Like, we probably scared them off, but that's okay because
that's going to be the good thing.
They're going to have their
of new users.
Well, they're going to have their own
content.
corner of Nostr. Yeah. They're going to come in and they're going to post their content, and then in the near future, they're going to get zaps, and they're going to be like, "What's this? What's this?
I got a zap. I got money. I got money to claim."
I got money for my content, and I didn't have to like go through like a platform intermediary and meet certain numbers. This is wild.
That is the best part, because I was thinking about that yesterday. Actually, I know you never get on Twitter, but I wrote on Twitter about your Zaplytics app and how like you can track your zaps with Derek's Zaplytics app. The app, you mean?
I should redo that with Opus 4.5.
Oh, do it.
Because I made Zaplytics
now that I wrote
6
about
months ago. and it needs to be better. Well, it needs to be better for the creators that are joining.
They're coming. They're coming
now.
for the
They're
diviners.
coming. They're gonna need these apps.
Well, I made a point in one of my Twitter thread posts that, like, I'm not trying to post to make money and look at Zaplytics and see how much I made and which because I literally just post content and like I don't pay attention to the zap. People zap the dumbest stuff like that I've ever said, and it's like, a lot of people are going to come from traditional social media and algorithms, and they're going to think, oh, what do I do on Nostr or Divine to like, beef myself up or upvote my, like, how do I beat the algo in Nostr? Like, how do I become like the big content creator influencer on Nostr? And it's like, just show up and post stuff and people will give you free money.
Just show up and post.
I look at my posts and I look at, because I'm looking at your Zaplytics app and I'm curious. I'm like, well, what posts did do well? And I'm like, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. If I talked about like cats and marathon running and something else, like, and I got zaps for it, and it's like, I'm just posting what I want and I'm just being myself and people send it money.
That's the beauty of Nostr, is you don't have to try to post content to game an algorithm.
And that's going to be a different mindset for new Nostr folks that are coming in and they're used to the legacy platforms and how crappy everything is, and it's all enshittified, and like they're used to like being a circus dog and jumping through hoops to get any attention on their content, and they're going to come to Nostr and they're just going to post something and somebody's going to send them a zap and they're going to be like, that dumb thing I posted that I didn't even think about made a bunch of money? Like, really? And it's going to blow people's mind. And you know what else, Derek? You know what I've noticed with people? Maybe you'll confirm this, maybe you won't. But when people experience zaps, they go nuts and they want to zap the hell out of everybody else. They're not on the take. They want to go zap other people.
Yeah. I'll say that's more on pattern than not. There have been some cases where people have like this influencer type attitude where they come and they get their zaps and they're like, cool, I got zapped. And then they don't participate in the value for value
I've seen
economy.
A couple of those.
They peace out.
And they don't last long.
Well,
because they're on the take,
we kind of have like a bullshit algorithm. It's human based.
Everybody knows the bullshit.
We can detect this, right? Like, we can detect this. And the cool thing about zaps is unless you're private zapping, they're public. So we can go in and we can look to see if people were zapping back. You can do that.
That's true. It is public. It's on the ledger. It's on the public ledger. But it'd be interesting to see.
Some apps let you do private zaps, though. Some apps will let you do that. So
I don't do that.
Somebody could be like, oh yeah, I'm zapping. You just can't see it, and we wouldn't know.
I'm open about it. I think it'll be very interesting to see a lot of, I would like to see an influx of Gen Z folks come in, get zapped, send zaps. I want to see Gen Z do zaps. Because we have some, obviously, Gen Z users, but I want to see what it's like to have a huge influx of them zapping.
Could Divine be the Gen Z client then?
It could, because they don't like the AI-generated content. They like authenticity, and nothing's more authentic than
that's what we got to work hard to do. We got to deliver on that promise of no AI content. It's doable. Well, it's doable. It's just
the
culture. Be a lot of hard work.
I think Jack is correct in that the Nostr is an ecosystem, and I think the culture of any app in the ecosystem has been authenticity. And people have spoken about, I feel like I can be myself on this app, because you're not going to get downvoted. Yeah, because you can post whatever you want. You can be yourself. Lynn Alden will post her left ear. I mean, it's just little things like that you get to be yourself, because you don't have to self-censor. You don't have to please an algorithm. You don't have to worry about your boss looking at your social profile. Our boss sees ours, but we knew that before he hired us. But it's
some may say he hired us because of our social profiles.
I know he knew it. He hired us. He liked us anyway. What does that say about Alex? Yeah. But I don't know.
He's a good human.
He is a good human. I think a lot of people got scared off of like Facebook a long time ago, because everybody got on it and it got too big, and it was like, well, your grandma's on there and your boss is on there and then your neighbor's on there, and like you have no privacy anymore to post whatever you want. You gotta play the posting game and post what you're okay with your neighbor to see, what you want your grandma to see, and then you realize, you know what, maybe I just don't need to post at all, and people kind of bounce.
Speaking of what grandma can see, I think we actually have a grandma app now.
We have a grandma app, like a boomer app?
Yeah,
a boomer Nostr app.
We do.
Which one?
I think it has the potential to be a boomer Nostr app. My friend and your friend too, friend of the show,
Watch it be my
Seth.
favorite one.
Seth vibe coded a Nostr advent calendar.
I love this
And
one.
I think it's super cool. One,
Me too.
because it's timely.
It's
Obviously,
Christmas.
it's an advent calendar, so it fits perfect with the theme of the year. And you get to learn about Nostr as you
It's so
open
cool.
the advent calendar days. You get to see different people to follow, and you get to learn about and find new apps. So, for example, on the first day, it says, "What is Nostr?" Then it has a learning section where you can learn about
Oh.
what Nostr is. Then there's a section for app of the day. The app of the day is Jumble for the first day. The
Oh,
person
cool.
to follow on the first day is actually me. And then it shows a handful of
Because you're the
my
welcome
recent
wagon.
notes. Because I'm the welcome
I
wagon,
love this.
obviously.
This is very creative of Seth.
Day,
This is
day
what we need
two
right
talks about public key cryptography. Sure, that's a little nerdy,
now. A little
but
bit.
it's something that people talk about.
It is one
Then
of the
app
most
of the
important
day is Damus.
aspects of it.
Person to follow is Daniel. And today, the third day, Relays Explained is the tip. It teaches you what relays are, teaches you about relays. Then the
Which
app of the
technically
day
you don't need to know.
is Nostr Watch, which is a relay app. And then the person to
Very cool.
follow is Noshole. So I'm
So,
excited
good
to see
theme.
what tip or trick I learn every day. I want to see the apps that he picked and the people he picked. So if
This
you're
is
new
awesome.
to Nostr and you don't really maybe participate a whole lot in Nostr, maybe you lurk, I would say go to this website, go to nostrchristmas.shakespeare.wtf, and you can view the Nostr advent calendar every day, just like a regular advent calendar. There's a new day to be unlocked. Look at the previous days and check out the tips, the tricks, the people to follow, and the apps. I think this is really cool.
That is
It's
really fun.
so simple, but it's a cool
nice
way to
drip.
disseminate information, right?
Yeah,
Yes, it's dripping
good
some
fun.
information, dripping some follows, dripping some apps, so you don't get overwhelmed with a
And it's a
massive list of
Nostr
apps
app
and tips
doing
and
it.
tricks. Yeah, it's cool.
That's just fantastic. And of course, Seth's first app was Zap.cooking. So you could have recipes on Nostr, which is one of my favorite apps. I don't use it enough because I'm lazy. I just put things in the air fryer. But I have this fantasy that I have people to cook for, and I'm on Zap.cooking doing the recipes. It's just me and my cats,
You find a recipe on Zap Cooking, and I'll invite myself over, and all the Team Soapbox. We're gonna show up.
We'll
And we're
show up
gonna
in
have
Phoenix.
a big old food party. Yep, we're doing it.
Big party at Heather's.
Yeah, big party. And all the recipes have to be from Zap Cooking.
Man, I'm gonna have to get some chairs if y'all are coming over. I don't have enough chairs.
Oh, you sold them all for Bitcoin. Okay,
It's my only chair. This is a true Bitcoiner. Got like one chair.
Nice.
I got a couch. It's fine. I'll put you somewhere.
Let's read some boosts. I think we had a couple boosts after I fixed the episode.
Boost. Yeah, that's true. You didn't boost it, but you did interact, and I like to jump in the boost and interact too. But I didn't do that this week because it was Thanksgiving. But Homer Hoddle, he said, "Don't accept the narrative that cargo shorts are out. They are the summer's blue jean and will be peak fashion forever. I will die on this hill." Derek Ross. Derek and his dad shorts we were talking about on an episode. That was
and I told Homer that he's wrong. He's wrong. Cargo shorts are only good for doing yard work. They are not
Homer's
a fashion
got a
statement.
whole closet full of cargo shorts, and he's not giving them up.
We had another boost from Tim. Tim sent us 500 sats. He said, "Sorry, guys. Last week's boost, I whined and gave you the wrong nip. It wasn't 21, but 23 long-form content. So now I do put out to Nostr using a custom kind so users can sync their feeds list. So check it out. Nostr Feeds with a Z. NostrFeedsWithAZ.com. We should check that app out. Thanks for the stats, Tim. Thanks.
What is that, like NostrFeeds.com?
Nostr Feeds. Yeah, it's an RSS and long form content reader unified in one. So you have the best of
Cool.
both worlds. You have the RSS feeds for news,
Wow.
but then you also have the Nostr NIP 23 content for news as well. So you get all your news in one curated place. I like it.
If you think about it, I mean, when's the last time anybody used a feed reader? Period, because they all started charging money at some point, and so they all got kind of bloated with features you didn't need. You
Yep.
couldn't just
I'm
have
still
an
hurt
RSS
that
feed
Google
reader.
Reader died, 15 years ago or whenever that was.
Man, I think
And then
I've
I
used a few of
switched to
them over the years.
Feedly, and I used Feedly for a number of years.
And then they started
The feed,
charging.
and then they
The
started charging,
enshittification came in, and
then I gave up on Feedly and haven't used it in a long time. But I'm gonna check out
yeah,
Nostr feeds. I'm gonna add some RSS feeds in here and check it out. It looks like a nice simple app.
it's cool.
So
It
thanks
is
for sharing,
awesome
Tim.
that it's so hard to keep up on everything going on with Nostr. Mishka, he puts out the Nostr recap every week. That's super helpful. But yeah, if you wanna zap us and tell us about your app, we're all for it. Zap or boost or hit us up on Nostr. Tell us what you're building.
Zap us, boost us, tell us about your app.
Make it easier for us to find what's going on, because this is a
So
cool space.
is there anything cool coming up that you're going to be touching humans, Heather? Any events you're
God,
headed
no.
to?
No, I'm
You're not
chilling
heading
for the rest of the
okay.
year.
Okay.
I'm like the one person
I
in the
think I am
company who's
too.
like, I'm not traveling. I'm gonna chill, Derek. I'm gonna build Shakespeare
Okay.
apps and chill. What about you? Are you going to?
I'm
You're
jealous.
going to something else.
Alex, I'm not going anywhere soon. Alex is going
Okay.
to the African Bitcoin conference here in the next couple of days, so I'm jealous of that. That's going to be an amazing time. It always looks like a great conference, and
African
the
Bitcoiners,
photos
man,
I see are beautiful.
they are the future. There's a lot of
African
cool.
Bitcoiners do really cool stuff because they build technology.
They need it.
And they build services and solutions that are unique to the African continent. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, really cool the way that they're building and using Bitcoin and using technology. I always find it fascinating. I like to watch their Bitcoin conference.
yeah.
It's different than the big mainstream conferences that you'll see elsewhere, where it's the same jargon parroted nonstop. Like the African conference is more unique. I like it.
Yeah, a lot of devs getting good training in Africa. That's gonna be very cool to see that emerge over the years. I'm excited about that.
Well, get out there and touch a fellow human. I think that's the message of the episode.
I touched a human today. I'm good, man. I can hermitize again.
Post a photo, online so we can verify that you did. You posted a photo of you touching a human?
Of me and my friend Mark.
I'll go zap it. I'll go zap your human touching.
We were in Scottsdale at the Dave Pratt Studios.
Nice.
So you can see the whole.
I had an internet nerd friend many years ago that lived in Scottsdale.
There's a lot of people here now. It's winter. I saw a big YouTube star the other day. I was behind a YouTube star in traffic, Derek. A guy has like 500,000 or something YouTube followers. He's called King
Did you
Kaiser.
yell at him, Nostr?
I know. I was like, God, can we get you on Divide? But no, he was in the only reason why I know this, because I'm behind the guy in traffic. He had the most tricked out Range Rover I've ever seen. It was solid black, but it had gold accents. And on the back, it said King Kaiser. And he's just driving down the street in my neighborhood.
I think I would
have
like died from cringe, to be honest with you.
No, I was like, that's got to be somebody. I got to look that up. And I Googled him, and he's a big YouTuber. Like, posts videos about Muay Thai and stuff. But he's hanging out in North Phoenix, like probably for Thanksgiving. Just home for the holidays. But yeah, come get on Nostr, King Kaiser. You're invited, King Kaiser. I don't know
invited.
You, but you're welcome.
Maybe he'll come in through Divine.
Maybe because he's a YouTuber.
Maybe.
But that's actually going to be interesting to see people who
There'll be a crossover.
Make it. Yeah, like if you've made it on YouTube and you got like super produced high glossy videos, like come over to Divine. No high gloss, no produced videos. You just got to make 6-second videos. Be authentic, be you, have some fun.
I think we're going to be surprised.
Oh God, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun.
Okay. Well, drop the gang sign. Thanks for listening.
Humans.
If you are listening right now on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube Podcasts, on
Move it on over.
something that is not part of the podcasting 2.0 experience, if you cannot zap sats and boost, you should check out another app. I like Fountain.
Yeah.
Fountain's cool.
But if you do,
anything for the podcasting 2.0 verse, the value verse.
You can
Find us
watch on
there.
YouTube. I put little Easter eggs in the YouTube video. There's
Yeah,
edited
you
little
can watch on
things.
make Heather happy, subscribe on YouTube, but then go listen on Fountain.
Yeah, listen on Fountain, zap, and give us your pithy comments either way.
Thank you. Peace.